Okay, so isn't it amazing that probably the most predictable thing about life is change, about our planet is change. So why does it take us by surprise, right? Disruptions are going to happen. This is not going to be the last one. So, but when we have the right attitude, then when we have the right attitude, we take advantage of change, right? We leverage change to move to new levels. That's what this experience is all about. You look at nature, trees shed their leaves, they grow new ones based on seasons. Because life is in seasons. Life is in seasons. This world works in seasons. That's why we have day and that's why we have night. Okay. If you have any challenge, please reconnect. Everything looks perfect from our end. Snakes shed their skins. When I was young, I lived in a village. So, and we kids would be going, and we would see right there by the side of the road a snake skin, and the snake will literally just shed the skin and move away with a new one. Okay, birds shed their feathers, they grow new ones. So we also are designed for renewal. We're designed for evolution, and this is a season for us to move on. If you're trying to hold on to yesterday is gone, you just become a yesterday person. Perfect for yesterday, but not fit for the current environment. All right. So your being here today tells me something about you, and it's the fact that you are open to learning. And that's it. That's the starting point. You change in your thinking, then you change everywhere else in your life. So I have in the room a beautiful lady, Harriet Burrell, and you'll be hearing from her in just some minutes. We're doing this together today, okay? Promises to be an exciting one.
So there's 3 things that you can do now that won't take a lot of your time or money, but can help your brand or your business grow. And I'll give them to you up front, and then we'll break them down. The first thing is content, right? So the question you want to make sure that you're answering is, are you using the right tools to be in position for growth? As Dr. Sam mentioned, we are in a very unique time right now. Content is very key. Why? Because a lot of people are still at home. A lot of people are waiting and watching and looking for content, things to engage in, because they can't really go anywhere. They cannot travel like they used to. And so they are indulging in content through social media, through television, through podcasts. And so right now, we see now more than ever that you need to be using the right tools to position your brand or your business for growth. Okay. The second thing we're going to dive into a little bit more is learning social media. So here's the thing that you should ask yourself as it relates to social media. Are you touching your ideal customer 6 to 9 times before they buy? I have talked to so many friends. Let's just to say people who have just come to me, hey, Harriet, what do you think about this idea? I want to start selling cookies, right? You've tasted my cookies. My cookies are amazing. I want to start selling my cookies. So I say, okay, great. Why don't you start giving some away or sending some to some of your clients or your friends and see what they think about it. And they'll maybe send it out to a few people and then you never hear from them again. Now, why is that important? Because when you're trying to get someone to buy, right, we're talking about marketing, advertising, branding. When you're trying to get someone to notice your brand, your product, and then purchase from your brand, you have to make sure you're touching them more than one time. Okay, that's not enough. And then to say that you failed, well, that's not right. Touch your ideal customer at least 6 to 9 times before they buy from you. So what does that look like? If you can imagine a detergent company, right? You may see a billboard on the highway for this detergent company, Tide, right? Cleans out stains. Now you're driving in your car, driving home from work. You saw the billboard. Now you hear the commercial on the radio. Hey, Tide, we just want to let you know this radio program is sponsored by Tide detergent. They're having 50% off sale for Memorial Day weekend, right? You heard it on the radio. Then you get home, you put your keys away, you hang up your coat, okay? You have your dinner. Maybe you sit down to watch a little television to decompress. And guess what comes on the television? a Tide commercial. Now they've touched you 3 times in one day, right? And then next day you wake your children up, and you see that your kids' clothes are really, really stained after you just washed it 3 times. And guess what you're going to think about now? Tide. Because they've touched you multiple times. And now when it comes to a point where you're ready to buy detergent, they want you to think about them. So that's why they use so many different mediums to touch you as their ideal customer. So you'll see them on the television, you'll hear the radio commercial, you'll see the billboard, you'll see the ad in a magazine. And they do this on purpose. It's definitely what social media will help us to do. Okay, the third thing is not to overspend on web and logos. Now, are you leveraging web platforms to draw attention? So obviously, as we're in a mobile generation now, 90% or 80% of transactions happen on mobile devices, cell phones, tablets, especially globally, right? Because a lot of people, they're not just sitting in front of their desktop or their computer anymore. People are on the move, and they're able to make transactions on the move. Well, when they're looking for your product or service, do you have a website, right? Do you have a logo? Do you have a brand or an identity that can speak to your customers? Now, here's the thing. When you're starting out, you don't want to overspend on these items. Even if you've already launched, you might be thinking, oh, we need to get our website redone. You don't want to spend $3,000 and $4,000 and $5,000. I learned this over time, and I even would tell clients this. And so now I don't even offer that anymore as a service, because it really should be focused on your marketing. Your dollars should be put into your marketing, into your advertising, and your branding. Why? Because that is the intersect of where the customers come in. They will see you, customers will meet you and know more about you before they even get to your website. Why? Because we have social media, and people are sharing, they're posting and resharing, and that's where 80 to 90% of your customers are. They're going to be on social media. And so 9 times out of 10, people may never go to your website. They may never go to your website, because if they could just click a link off of a post and go right to a checkout or a sign-up page, then they'll never browse anything else on your website. So you don't want to overspend. Do you want to have a web presence? Yes, but we'll get into this a little bit more. So I just wanted to give you the answers up front and then break it down a little bit more. So again, if it doesn't matter how great your product or service is if no one knows about it. And again, Dr. Sam just talked about that. It's really important that we focus on getting exposure. I've seen people with products who were terrible products that didn't work, but still they made a lot of money. Why? Because they were the option that was available to buy in the moment when people wanted to buy. Okay? Because they were the option that was made available to people who wanted to buy when they wanted to buy it. So accessibility to purchase your product is important, how easy it is to get to your product, and that exposure.